Shekinah. A lot of these women are single. They are bitter. They are religious. They just they don't understand where they're going in this world, and they want to point the blame at us as men, because it's easy to blame us as men. We've been getting blamed, especially us as melanated men. We've been getting blamed for all the issues in regards to the dating life and the happiness of melanated women for the last 30, almost 40 years. We've been getting blamed. We've been getting blamed for everything, so we used to it. We're so used to it. They don't learn how to listen
anymore. Just talk.
Things, yeah, that's pretty much what goes on now. You know, they talk, but they don't listen. That's why they cannot learn anything. That's why when their relationships fall apart, they tend to not understand why. I know why. And it's because you have a lot of these women who are dysfunctional. They are mentally unstable. They are unhinged. And despite the fact that they claim to be religious, they claim to know the Bible, they claim to know the teachings of it, they claim to be a child of God, they still don't really understand it because, they don't. And they will use religion until they get to the point to where all they have is the church. All they have is their pastors. They don't really have anything else. They date men who aren't even religious. They don't live by the teachings of the Bible. And that's why it's that confusion. It's that constant confusion. And what's interesting too is that she's talking to two different guys who are basically saying the same thing. Say what you want about Young Thug, say whatever you want about T.I. They were trying to be honest with her, and she could not deal with it.
With that raspy voice, she can be a spokesperson for Newports.
Reset that, Terrell. Make sure y'all like the stream. It's a different day, people. It is a different day. Men are holding women like this accountable, and they don't like it. This is why I said they're on edge. They're upset. They're frustrated. They're coming to me and asking me, why am I saying the things that I'm saying about women, especially melanated women, even though I've called out a lot of women equally. I have no allegiance to Caucasian women. None whatsoever. When they need to be called out, I'll call them out. Just look at my previous video I did about Iggy Azalea. I got it in the description box. And I basically spoke about how she has nobody to blame for her situation but herself. She can go and try to say whatever she wants about Playboy Cardi. At the end of the day, she chose to be with him. She planned, quote unquote, to have a child with a 24-year-old who was probably 23 at the time, who likes playing video games and making music. That's the type of guy you want to plan to have a child with, not a guy who is of power and prestige, wealth, influence. No, you choose a rapper who's younger than you. That's just that accountability. They want to blame everybody else for why their relationships fail, and that those days are over. Those days of blaming men for why you are 40-something years old and single are over. It's over. And they don't like that. They don't like that. For so long, they've gotten a pass. For so long, they've been able to be accountability free in this day and age. But that's not happening anymore. And they're mad about this. But again, they have nobody to blame but themselves at the end of the day, because they chose their path in life. When you choose to plan to have children with a guy who likes playing video games and dealing with other women and making rap music, that's a choice you made. That's a choice you made. We've been getting blamed for almost 40 years for why a lot of these women are not happy. And people are fed up with it. Not only are there men fed up with it, you got some women who are speaking out, okay? Some, they're speaking out about it. One of the funniest things I saw, was that you got women trying to use their husbands to combat what is being said by men on social media. Okay? They're using their simp husbands to combat the growing truth about why a lot of these women are going to be alone for the rest of their lives. Because other women who are in relationships, they know they settled. They know they're not 100% happy with who they chose. So they want to live vicariously through other women. And that's the problem. You got too many of these women that are living vicariously through other women. And when you see these women go get their beta male husbands, their effeminate husbands, to combat what's being said, because you have a guy like a Kevin Samuels that has unleashed all of this bitterness to the point to where you have these women going to get their lame husbands, putting them on video live streams, putting them on videos, trying to combat what's being said is hilarious and it's sad at the same time. It's hilarious and sad at the same time. But this is the day and age we're living with. We're living with people who truly are lost. Okay? And again, we need to keep this going. Even entertainers, your T.I.s, your young thugs, are telling these women the truth. Just like you see in the video here. All right? And she is not liking it whatsoever, whether you agree with them or not. So I want y'all to understand that this stuff has been going on for years. Okay? I myself and others have been holding women accountable for the things they say and do, and we've taken the brunt of a lot of criticism, a lot of shaming, a lot of trolling, and to see that there are so many others that are willing to hold a mirror in the faces of women, it's a good thing, because that's when you see true change in society. Because whether y'all want to believe it or not, there are a lot of dudes that actually want to see women change for the better. Unfortunately, there are guys who are willing to skip back to, the plantation, quote unquote, so to speak, for that. You know what I'm saying? They're just ready. They're ready to get to skipping and flipping back. That's what they would like to see changes because of that. But personally, when women are in a happier state, I think the world's in a better place, because if you have a bunch of bitter women, they're going to take it out on men, especially men who disagree with them. When you disagree with women and those women have some sort of say-so in society, they have some sort of power, they're going to abuse it. And they're going to go at men who disagree with them the most. Right? This is why even women say they would never want to work for another woman. Because they know women are of unstable mind. Not all, but there are women who are of unstable mind. And if you put them in a position of being over other people, it's not going to be a good connection. It's not going to be a good connection. I think we all know the truth inside. But I think that some of us mask it so we don't take criticism.
Simp husband working overtime on plantation. Loudly crying, loudly crying.
Thanks, Nana. Appreciate it. Shout out to you. Now, again, I have said this at the end of every year since 2015, that the next year represents new challenges, but also represents, good things. And I think one of the good things is that women are starting to realize that they may end up living alone for the rest of their life and not finding love, because you have to love yourself before anybody loves you. And if you have not found love within yourself, you will never be able to find that love. No matter how many men you sleep with, no matter how many men you end up having children with, you can't manufacture happiness. Just like with the video I did about Iggy Azalea, She tried to manufacture her own happiness by having a kid, planning a kid with a guy who actually didn't really want the kid, but he just wanted to be with her. It would not surprise me if she would not give him none unless he agreed to it. It would not surprise me at all. So, again, you cannot manufacture happiness. You can find it by finding happiness in yourself. I saw a story about a woman, taking her own life. I believe she had just graduated school, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all may have heard about it. She wrote a note about how unhappy she was and how she just wanted the pain to go away. All right? And she ended it all. Just because she was unhappy. There's a lot of women like that are just truly unhappy. And they would rather leave this world than stay in it. And what happens is when you have those type of women around, they want to make everybody else's life as miserable as their life is. What would these people do without social media? Now, people can say social media contributes to their craziness, which could be true. But I also think that it has helped save women mentally. This is why a lot of them get their self-esteem boost off of being on Instagram or Twitter. If they didn't have that, where would these women be? Like, where would they be without those outlets to be able to find some type of self-esteem in themselves? They definitely wouldn't be happy. They'd be very miserable.